Sometimes, I go back and watch this video when I want to feel that weird mix of nostalgia and pride in my fandom. It's almost like a window into another time, a simpler, more happy time. A true representation of how Colts fans across the world reacted when Marlon Jackson punched our ticket to the Super Bowl. You can't even really make out what's happening on the field. There's no graphics, no score box, no editing at all really. Just a pure, unaltered video of Colts fans realizing their dream. But first, we need to talk about how we got here. The Colts came to Indy in 1984 and sucked, never winning more than 5 games from 1984 to 1986. But they got Eric Dickerson in 1987 and made the playoffs. Ever since then, the Colts have been a winning franchise. They went through many ups and downs during the 90s, but after drafting Peyton Manning and adding guys like Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, Brandon Stokely, and Dallas Clark, not to mention the several elite players on defense, the Colts became a contender. And along with that, the Colts fan base quietly became one of the most passionate fan bases in the NFL. Even today, the streets of Indy flood with blue and white on game day, and the fans' love for their team could be considered borderline obsessive. In 2006, after several years of 12-plus win seasons and several disappointing playoff losses, the Colts were just as hungry as ever to win a Super Bowl. The Colts start the year on a 9-game winning streak. This included a 27-20 win over the Patriots. They would end up winning only 2 of their last 5 to end the year, but they still finished 12-4. And individually, when we talk about, the players, Peyton Manning finished the year with 31 touchdowns to 9 interceptions, a surprise 1,000-yard rushing year out of rookie Joseph Addai. Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison both finished with over 1,000 yards. Robert Mathis, Dwight Freeney, Cato June, Gary Brackett, Antoine Bethea, and Bob Sanders all led a great defense, and all that basically to say, the Colts were really, really good. Now, Bob Sanders did have injury troubles over the 2006 season, but would be ready for the playoffs. The Colts were set to play the Kansas City Chiefs in the wild card round, a Chiefs team that went 9-7 and was led by Trent Green. Now, the Chiefs still had a decent team, don't get me wrong, but the Colts were easily better. And it showed in the game, as the Colts won 23-8. Peyton Manning didn't play his best as he threw 9 interceptions, but Joseph Addai rushed for 120 yards and a touchdown to seal it for them. Now the Colts were on to the Baltimore Ravens, a tough team that I don't really think needs an introduction, but if you don't know, the Ravens had one of the best defense in the NFL over the past few years, with Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs, and Ray Lewis leading the way. But their offense was average, and the Colts could exploit it as they also had a great defense. This game would be a slugfest as neither team scored a touchdown and both teams' defenses played well. The Colts would still win 15-6, and both Bethea and Nick Harper would get a pick. And surprise, surprise, the NFL's all-time forced fumble leader, Robert Mathis, would have a forced fumble in this game. Now the real test would come for the Indianapolis Colts in the AFC Championship. The New England Patriots. A team that was similar to the Colts as they had a great offense led by Tom Brady and a solid defense. It looked like the Patriots would run away with the game early as they led 21-6 at halftime. But the Colts received the second half kickoff. And there was still a sliver of hope for Indy. They fought for every inch it took to get to this point, and the Colts weren't ready to give up just yet. A drive led by Peyton Manning and Dominic Rhodes put them on the goal line. 3rd and goal, 1 yard away from making it a 1-score game. Peyton Manning, the leader of this team, dives in for a touchdown, and Vinatieri makes the extra point to make it a 21-13 game. The Colts then got a stop and the ball back. Big plays from Dallas Clark and Dominic Rhodes, and a PI call against New England put the Colts on the goal line. And Peyton Manning completed a pass to Dan Klecko for a touchdown. But the Colts are still down by 2 with 4 minutes left in the third quarter. They chose to go for 2 and try to tie the game up. Marvin Harrison hauls in the pass to tie up the game for the Colts. But the Patriots score a touchdown with 1:35 left in the third to make it a 1-score game. This back and forth continued for the rest of the fourth quarter. With just under 4 minutes left in the game, the Patriots kicked a field goal to give them a 34-31 lead. Peyton Manning has 3 straight incomplete passes and forced the Colts to punt just 20 seconds of game time later. The Colts defense then clutches up and gets a stop, but the Colts are down a score with 2 minutes and 17 seconds left on the clock, and only 1 timeout left. Deep passes to Brian Fletcher and Reggie Wayne put the Colts in the red zone with 1:50 left in the game. The Colts run 2 straight times with Joseph Indys to bring it to 3rd and 2. They then run it again with Indys and score a touchdown. As the Colts take a 4-point lead with just over 1 minute left in the game, and I think you know how the rest of this story goes. The Colts now face the Chicago Bears. Well, this is the Super Bowl. It almost feels like the Patriots were the real challenge. They were way better than the Bears, and I feel like the Colts knew they were going to win the Super Bowl as soon as they beat New England. The game would be competitive up until the 4th, when the Colts would take a 12-point lead. The Colts would win this ugly, wet game in Miami 29-17, and bring Indy its first ever Super Bowl. I love this team for so many reasons. Peyton Manning being the embodiment of what a quarterback is meant to be, Indys and Rhodes combining to be an amazing tandem that surprised a lot of people, Reggie Wayne, Dallas Clark, and Marvin Harrison all cementing themselves as Colts legends, Jeff Saturday being amazingly consistent in anchoring the O-line, Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis terrorizing quarterbacks, Gary Brackett and Cato June being the best underrated linebacking duo in the NFL, Antoine Bethea also being a great underrated safety, and Bob Sanders putting on the grittiest display of playoff football you will ever see, and ending it all by kissing the Lombardi Trophy. All these players I mentioned can still find their jerseys being worn by thousands of Colts fans to this day. Even guys like Ryan Deem and Tariq Glenn, who I didn't mention much in this video, but still had a big impact on the Colts, they can find their jerseys being worn around Lucas Oil Stadium to this day. The city of Indy will forever show their gratitude to this gritty bunch of NFL legends, and it is, in my opinion, the best era of Colts football. Maybe I'm blinded by a lens of nostalgia, but when I think of the city of Indianapolis, the things that come to my mind are Long's Donuts, the 2014 Indiana Pacers, the Salesforce skyscraper, and the 2006 Indianapolis Colts. Thank you for watching.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with Commissioner Roger Goodell, and it is time for the presentation to Jim Irsay, owner of the Indianapolis Colts, of the Vince Lombardi Trophy.
Now we're world champions.
So many guys on this team. Anyone on your team could have been the most valuable player, and I know no one knows that more than you.
No question, Jim, and that's been our theme all year. We have won as a team. Everybody did their part. There was no panic. Nobody ever gave up. We stayed calm throughout the entire game. Truly won this championship as a team, and I'm proud to be a part of it. We won this championship for our leader, Coach Dungy, but everybody did their part, and it sure is a great feeling, and we're glad to bring this trophy back to Indianapolis.
Congratulations to you, Peyton.
Thank you, Jim.
I know you want to take that trophy and share it with every one of your teammates. It's coming back up to Bob Sanders.